Yay! All right, I think we're going live. And it says live. So, Mick, welcome to Let's Talk About Ice live from the Gold Coast. And you are not on the Gold Coast. Where are we talking to you from tonight?
Townsville.
From Townsville. Awesome. Well, welcome, and thank you for your patience while we had some technical difficulties and crossing live. So thank you for joining us. We look forward to hearing your story tonight. And guys, you know, we do this in order to help raise awareness, to educate people about the dangers of this drug, and, you know, to maybe give you some keys on how you can help loved ones, yeah? Not even once is our message. Don't touch it. It's just not worth the consequence and the damage that it just bestows upon you. So, you know, we just really value people like Mick that come out and share their stories. When we share, it's not an easy walk. We have to travel through the memory lane and we have to bring up past stuff. But we do this not to gloat about it, but so that we can help educate our community and help raise awareness about this. So I'm really grateful, Mick, that you've chosen to come on live and share your story. I don't know a lot about your story, but I do know the heading that narcotics hijacked you and took control of your life. So I want to go back and paint a bit of a picture about what your life looked like before drugs. You know, was there always drugs involved in your life, and is that something that was just like inevitable?
No. I'm nearly 62. I had a wonderful upbringing, wonderful mum and dad and family. I guess growing up through the 70s, drugs were sort of introduced to us as a spiritual thing, not so much a party thing as they are now. We were told nobody knew anything about it. There wasn't much information about drugs, so we were told if we smoked a joint, we'd jump through a plate glass window and rape our grandmothers. And of course, we had one, and it didn't happen. And then when, in my case, heroin came along, and people said, "Oh, you'll get terribly addicted, and it'll ruin your life." I went, "Oh yeah, just like the pot." And boom, all of a sudden you're trapped. And then I had a heroin addiction for about 5 or 6 years, and the early mid-80s I stopped and had not a real lot to do with drugs for 20 or 30 years, but was a nightclub bouncer, and the bit of speed come on just to stay awake, and then ecstasy, and then from dropping pills on a weekend, all of a sudden your serotonin and everything's all worn out, and more speed, and then this insidious ice hit the streets, and just like a wildfire, and burnt everything up.
Yeah. As it does, Mick. But I want to go back and like talk about like the first drug you may have tried, and like what was going through your mind at that time, and what was the scenario? Can you paint a bit of a picture? Because see, sometimes people think that, you know, oh, you've got to be in a really bad place to take drugs, or, you know, kids just do it, you know, just to try something. I'd like to get a bit of an insight about what was your thought process. You know, did you know that what you were going to do was going to hurt you? You know, give me a bit of a...
Like I said, there wasn't any information out there about it. And it was, you know, the hippie era, it was a spiritual sort of journey. We were looking for something extra and special. It wasn't just like the path of an average junkie now. It was very different. But like I said, I then gave that away, and then got caught in that roller coaster of dropping pills in nightclubs and that, and thinking, okay, it's cool. I only do this on Sundays or Saturdays, and then not being able to go to work on Monday. So, you know, starting to speed. And because I'd had the earlier heroin addiction, I didn't smoke or snort anything. I stuck it in my arm.
Wow. Were you
and
scared?
So, you know, sorry.
I've got to ask this because I know people at home might be thinking that, you know, were you scared, like, to put a needle in your arm? How old were you?
With heroin,
yeah,
probably 16 or 17. Yes. You almost had am I going to die? Is this my time? Every time you did it. I remember turning away and not being able to look at it, which, you know, went quite quickly. You could do it by yourself quite easily after that. It just becomes normal. And, you know, I saw with heroin especially, one of your circle of friends was dead every month.
Wow.
I saw a lot of people die. A lot of very good close friends died.
Were you not happy with your life, Mick? Like, did you have a death wish for you? Like, what was going on for you that you didn't value?
No,
like,
I was an athlete. I had a very happy life. I guess I was just in the beginning, right back in those days, looking for more. I can't explain that.
Like, more what? I'm trying to get
more meaning to life, perhaps. More meaning to life. Like I say, they were very black and white days, the 70s.
Yeah.
Not like all this information and entertainment and whatever we have now.
So you didn't know that, like, that this could kill you and that it was going to destroy your insides and that you were going to become addicted and not be able to get out of that entrapment? Nobody kind of spoke to you about that? Is that what you're saying?
There wasn't anybody to speak to you about that. I mean, you had the cross and the switchblade or, you know, the odd book like that, but that was it. There was very little information around in those days. But even decades later, when I got trapped with the ice and that, I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought it was just, okay, I'll just use a little bit of this to stay awake and a little bit of that to stay awake or have a bit of a party on the weekend. I didn't realise I was getting caught until I got caught.
How long did that take, Mick? Like, how long did it take before you realised that you got caught, like you were entrapped? I call it, like, you know,
with ice, not very long at all. With ice, not very long at all. It's a very, very alluring thing. And I mean, of course, you think, okay, I'm all right. Nobody's going to know. As if we all look at someone who's walking around using a lot of ice, everyone knows.
Yeah. They don't notice, though, hey?
No, you just don't. And you go down and down and down. And I've even had female friends that were great friends of mine say, I remember one in particular said, my brother gave me my first shot when I was 15. And I went, oh, wow, this is good. And he looked at me and he said, there goes your self-respect. And then she laughed.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If I could, at my age now, my greatest regret with drugs of all the different things is the years of achievement and happy life that I lost. And now, you know, I've been clean for over 10 years. I've bought a house and you know, got married. I'm very, very fit and that for my age. Healthy as. I have a great life.
You're one of the lucky.
Gee, I wish I had more time to have had that.
Yeah, absolutely. You are one of the lucky ones. You do realise that, as you said before, you've lost a lot of friends and people on the needle and in this world. And, you know, a very small percentage of people actually come out the other side and go through actual recovery. And that doesn't mean like just staying off the drugs. It's actually recovering your life and restoring, like, and working on the things that have happened through that journey, it can be quite painful. So, you're one of the very few that has managed, and I do want to go there and find out what happened and what was your turning point and what helped you change that. But firstly, I want to go back to oh my goodness, I've lost you. Hold on, there we go. I lost you for a minute.
Still
Sorry.
here.
I want to go back to, like, all your friends were using. Tell me about, like, were your family around? Did they not notice that? You mentioned, like, things started going down. What? Because I know what you're talking about because I've been there, but people at home, and maybe somebody, a teenager might be contemplating trying something for the sake of, everyone tries something, and trying something and having that same thought process. What does down look like, firstly? And did the people around you notice that down and try to reach out to help you?
In my initial addictions, like with the heroin and that in the late 70s, early and 80s, my mum and dad, my family tried everything they could, but there just wasn't any information around. And, nobody really knew how to help or whatever. By the time I'd got to the ice and that I was a grown man, I was dealing with my stuff myself, pushing it under the bed and hiding it from everybody that I could. But I was miserable. And it was sheer misery. When I look back now, I think, and that's the worst part about that wasted time. I mean, if it had been, whoa, what a great party time, it wouldn't be such a regret, but it wasn't. It was absolutely miserable. I lost 5 children. Wow. 5 children to 3 different mothers that I haven't seen for 10 to 20 years.
Wow.
And I have to live with that every day, especially as I get older. It took so much from me. I was a very good martial artist and a champion kickboxer and that in the 80s. I stuck that all up my arm with the heroin. That also is what really saved me from all of it, was that I always understood how to eat well, and I've always trained. And I've always trained myself out of those things. But, gee, the opportunities that I've missed, the relationships I've lost, the time, our most valuable thing that just never comes back, that has gone forever, My dad died 6 months ago, and I think of the decades that I didn't see him as much as I could have, because I was sitting in a flat, sticking a needle in my arm somewhere.
Yeah. And that's the thing, when we go into schools and we talk to the youth, some things, like, they look at you and they look at me and they go, oh, well, you look all right, you came out. But, some of the things that you've gone through and the hurt that you've caused, and some of the things that, have happened on that journey, you can't take back. And you can't reverse that, and you can't reverse, the heart damage or the kidney failure or and all the medical things that come along with that. And so when we say, to the kids and to the youth, don't go there because it'll take you down. They don't understand. They don't comprehend what does down mean. What does that mean? And
the loss of your integrity too. The loss of your integrity and pride, and the things you do that you really wish you didn't.
Yeah. Did you want to touch on any of that?
Oh, not really.
Okay. Yeah, and it does. We often say, this drug will take you to mental health institutes. It'll take you into crime. It'll take you into prison, and it'll take you into death. Really, because it's slowly eating away at yourself as a person, at your self-esteem, your belief, everything that your morals, everything that you thought you could be or were, that destroyed with this drug and this world. We call it ice world. And the devastation, like you're saying, you have 5 kids that you know, you can't restore that time back and that time with your father, and you can only, you know, do things today in the power that, you know, in the strength that you have to make it right. And by doing, you know, sharing like this, you know, we can really help raise awareness and educate others from going down this path, you know. So did this life take you down take you into crime scene and stuff like that as well? Is that something that, because
Yes. I've never been a thief or anything, but violence was sort of my path, and being a martial artist and training, and I've done a lot of things that I haven't been real proud of when it comes to that. Feed my habit, etc., etc.
Yeah. And tell me about what was a turning point for you, Mick? Because, like, you know, you're entrapped in this world. You know, there's violence, there's anger, there's a lot of you know, a lot of stuff that goes down that you know, you wish you could change. What was that turning point for you? I mean, you've been clean for 10 years. That's you know, outstanding. Good on you. Well done. And it does. I know the journey, and it's hard. It's hard to stop. It's hard to change your life. Talk to us about first the turning point and how that happened and what you did.
Okay, I was never a person who went, okay, I'm going to do this for a while. I fought all the time. I mean, weekly or fortnightly, I would try and stop. With heroin, it's a lot harder, of course, because you get sick.
Yeah.
With the ice, it's mental. It just takes over your mind, as you know, as well as I do. Everything fell to bits for me. I was bodyguarding a bloke who sold drugs and that sort of stuff, and I was nearly shot by the police. I had a gun go off like 3 foot from my head while I was lying face down on the ground. I thought I had been shot. I put my stuff in an old $500 station wagon that I had. I'd broken up with the girl I was seeing, and I hopped in the car and I drove. I got to Townsville, and a friend of mine who I'd trained when he was younger, and that grabbed me when I got here and said, "You're kidnapped," and cleaned me up. And he was a biker. I won't say anything who or whatever, but that club and whatever grabbed me and put me on the straight and narrow sort of thing, and gave me back a little bit of self-respect, and I trained hard and step at a time.
That's incredible. And that's quite controversial here, Mick, because like most people, you know, associate bikers with, you know, being the ones, and I hear that a lot, like, oh, it's the bikers that are supplying. I go, well, I think you got that wrong. You know,
They policed it.
Yep.
They policed it. They wouldn't allow speed to be sold at a certain strength. Yep. When they brought biker laws in, that's when the ice hit.
Yeah, and I see that too. You know, I have some friends and they're trying to stop it, you know. So it's quite controversial making that statement, like, you know, that they came and put you on the straight and narrow. And, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because, you know, a lot of people are trying to put the blame on people, you know, bikers, and that's not necessarily a true fact. So that's beautiful. And so what did they just because I know it's quite horrific to go through a heroin withdrawal. What
this was
was
the ice one.
Okay, so what was that like for you? You know, not like, how was that journey for you?
Well, I found that once I got the strength and made my mind up, right, that's it, that I felt better every day. I slept better, I ate better, I was training more, I had more self-esteem because I was looking better. Yep. I got a little job, and then a better job, and then a better job, and then a better job. Until, you know, like I say, I bought a house and everything. I met a girl and got married. Unfortunately, that didn't last, but for other reasons, and we're still great friends. But it was all part of my development. All of those things helped me build myself up and work myself up. And then realizing that the excitement and feeling of well-being and sense of achievement was way better than any drug I'd ever taken.
Yeah.
And every time I got a better job or bought a house or got a better car or trained harder or whatever, that's to me the real meaning of life. So that's what, if you can do that instead of take drugs and waste it all.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could go back, Mick, and talk to yourself at, when was the first time you tried any drugs? 14?
Probably about 15 or 16. Yeah.
So if you could go back and talk to yourself back at 16, what would you say?
Well, I don't know if I'd stop myself, simply because it's made me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
The downward parts and everything, no matter how much time's wasted or bad things happen, they've given me strengths. And the ability to beat those things have given me strengths that are very, very important to me now. So I don't know if I'd change anything if I could go back. I mean, that's a real hard one, isn't it?
It is a hard one.
Because, you don't know, okay, I take that all away, maybe I wouldn't achieve this or that I've achieved over the years. But I'm a very strong person now because of it.
Let me put it this way, knowing the journey and the friends you've lost and the people that, the close calls you've had, with a bullet dodging you closely and losing your friends and stuff, if one of your children, were going to go down the same path as you did, what would you say to them?
Well, Andrea, I have the opportunity to do this quite regularly because I train young people in martial arts, and the guys that come and train with me are usually guys that are in trouble when they start, and not only myself but all the other guys who train too is a massive support. We're saying to keep kids off the drugs and that sort of stuff, and we don't allow it, and they can talk to whoever there is in there, myself or any of my other top guys and that are that understand it, and whichever ones can get through to them. Different people will listen to different people.
That's right.
But of course, my advice was don't touch it in the first place. There's so much more to life. There's so much more to life, and all you're doing is limiting yourself. You're just giving it this precious little thing. I heard a saying once years ago that if time was a line, and to the left of me it went forever and ever into the past, and to the right of me it went forever and ever into the future. We get one little spark to look around. Why waste that sitting in a shoving shit up your arm?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so silly. You don't even know what's going on around you,
It's not a dress rehearsal. This is not a dress rehearsal. We get one shot at it.
That's right.
And to waste it, like self-destroying and losing time and, precious memories with people that we love and, achieving things and growing, both spiritually and, as a community. It's sad, it's really sad to blow that all, blow it all away.
Plus, I'd be a millionaire by now.
You would what? Sorry?
I said, plus I'd be a millionaire by now if I didn't spend all that money.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think the same. So now you're working with kids up there in Townsville and helping them restore and get a reason bigger than themselves to to look after themselves, to look after their health and have a vision. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Tell me, Mick, is your family restored? Like, have you made amends with the people that you love around you from past? I mean,
Yeah.
it's 10 years on now.
Not with my children, but everyone else, yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. My mum, which is, the most important one, yes. And of course, everybody else.
Yeah, your friends and so forth. I just, I just want people to hear, that restoration is possible, and you can, turn things around, and like you have, Mick. You're a walking example of that can be done. So, what does that pathway look like if you were to be asked, how do I change? How do I turn my life around? How do I do this? What would you say?
Well, for me and my generation, it's grit your teeth. I don't know whether that goes over so well in this generation, but you've got to make a decision. And as you know yourself, you can't help anyone until they've made that decision.
Yeah.
Until they've gone, I'm going to quit, you can't help them no matter what you do. Yeah. They have to come up with that first. But once you're ready, grit your teeth, stick to it. Eat better, exercise, develop yourself. Mm. My goodness, this magic little device in front of us that gives us a sum total of the world's knowledge at the press of a button. You got exercise programs, diet, everything there.
Yeah, yeah. And would you say, like, did you have thoughts about relapsing? Did you have, thoughts about going back into that world? Did you relapse?
Not this time, no. No, I would never. The thought of even feeling like that is creepy to me now. Mm. I think I never want to feel like that ever again. Mm. Of all things I've ever done in my life, it's the thing that I'm most ashamed of. Mm. No, I have no what's named a relapse. I did it about 6 years ago. My friend that grabbed me and fixed me up here was killed. And I went to his funeral, and a lot of people that I knew came up there, and one pulled out a pipe with some meth in it, and I had a couple of drags on it. I said, give me a go. And you know what? That rest of that day and that whole night, I sat there staring at the ceiling saying, what the bloody hell did I do that for? I never want to feel like this again.
Yeah.
And to feel fit and healthy is way better stone than any drug can give you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And achievement. Yeah. Achievement is the other big one, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Do you think that exercise, exercising, and it releases like dopamine, when you and certain chemicals, do you think that's a big part of recovery?
Oh yes, most definitely, because your body, you never stay the same. You're either rotting or building. And of course, when you're on the drugs, you're rotting. When you're exercising, you're building. Every system in your body is improving. And dopamine, endorphin, serotonin, all of those things are just flooding your body. To start to train, I've been doing it all my life, and almost every time I go, I might have a day off today. But you know what? I've never, ever trained and gone, I wish I didn't do that. Every time I've ever trained, I've gone, I'm so happy I did that today. And I'm a big, strong, really healthy man. At my age, I can do head-eye kicks and jumping kicks and spinning kicks and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sitting at 62 years old, There's got to be something to it.
Was it hard at first, Mick? Because, I know that when you first get off the gear, your muscles hurt. It's because of the way it affects your muscles and your physical state. It eats away at your insides, right? So when I first started to get clean and I was trying to go to the gym, I remember everything hurt. And I was like, really pushing myself, to kind of get through that. Did you find that as well? And how did you overcome that?
No, not really. I'd withdrawn from heroin. The way to compare that is with heroin, you get to that stage where you go, this is destroying me financially, my health, my relationships, my whole life. I've got to do something. You get real strong. With the ice, you get real strong. I'm going to do it. Every day starts to get better then. But with heroin, you just started. You know what I mean? You get to that point, nothing gets better. You get worse and worse and worse. You get sicker and sicker and sicker. And that's why the ice was so insidious to me, because I used to say to people, you weak bastards, how could you get addicted to that? I've been addicted to heroin. But it's a whole different thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And me too.
Yeah, burning it at both ends. I'm so glad, Mick, that you managed, to get out of that world, and you're doing what you're doing now, and helping others restore their lives, and they're having, getting strong, and I'm sure you share your story with many of these young guys. I wish you were down here on the Gold Coast. We could get something going down here as well. So it's so important. I see, a lot of people with what I call addict brain. You can channel that into a negative, or you can channel that into a positive. And, to get back, a lot of people get back in the gym, and they, they get fit, and they go extreme, like they, fanatic gym, going to the gym, and they get really extreme, because that's just the way that our brain works, right? So, but instead of self-destruction, try and channel that to down a good path, and that's so critical that we can't change the way that our brain works. Many successful athletes and people that achieve, high things in life actually have addict brain, but they channel it. They channel it down with a vision, and they push forward, and it's like it's all or all. That's my go to say. It's all or all. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it properly. And a lot of times, if you channel it into a negative path, you're going to end up killing yourself, and everything else around you. So you've been able to turn that around and show others how to do that. It's so inspiring, and I just we're blessed to have you on the show today to share that. To help people understand, get in the gym, get working out, whether it's is it Tai Chi? What kind of martial art do you do? Sorry.
I've done karate, taekwondo, Muay Thai. I've done martial arts for 50 years. I've done a lot of different ones.
Wow. What would you recommend somebody start?
But like you said before, I was like, sorry?
We've had a bit of a cross, sorry. What would you recommend people start with if they want to, get in there and try and get their health back?
Well, I found yoga very good. Walking.
Yep.
I walk every day for an hour or so. I find that better, especially at my age, not so much pressure on my knees and that. With martial arts, there's so many, and it depends on what you want. But anything.
Just do something.
I do weights, I do yoga, I walk. Yeah.
So do you have any final messages for the people at home? Like we did share just before the show that, the people that are watching might be people in early recovery. They might be people, from schools that we've gone into contemplating, should I try drugs? Should I not? So they come and hear some stories. We've also got family members that might be trying to help their loved one, to change path. Is there any final messages before we wrap up that you want to share, I guess, with people at home?
There's so much more to life than drugs. Drugs take your life. They steal your life. As the spark thing before, we have such a little life. And I'll tell you, at my age, you really start to see that.
Yeah.
Don't waste it. Don't waste it on rubbish. Achievement. Make yourself as big and as strong, and read and develop yourself as much as you can. There's awesome opportunities out there. There's travels. There's everything. Look at the era we live in.
Yeah.
There's so much more to life than just wasting that one greatest gift we get, sitting in a flat, sticking shit in your arm.
Yeah.
And we run around scoring 9/10 of the day anyway.
That's right. Like, that's a lot, right?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Andrea.
Thank you for being on the show, Mick, and sharing your heart, and it just being such an encouragement to people out there. I'm sure that this is going to be, guys online, if you can share this on your Facebook, please. We just need to let people know that choose life. You can choose life or death, and we've been there, and we've been able to turn that around. Mick's been able to turn that around. You can too. And it's just, it's pushing through and finding something like that you love, in the top of exercise, and that'll bring you things back. I mean, I love music, so I get into on my keyboard and, try and repair my neurological pathways with music, but it's absolutely critical that we get, work on our physical as well. Yeah. So internal and our, and putting the right things in. And you're right, like I'm 52 now, and I think, my goodness, how much time did I waste? And people are lost along the way, and it didn't have to be like this. I wish I could have changed that. It could have been so much different, but it is what it is, and we're here to say, choose life, honestly, and you can recover. And if you're somebody out there today that you're thinking about, maybe I want to change my life. I want to change my path. I want to choose life, but you're not sure how or what to do. I want to leave a number with you. Have a think about it. You can take the steps and make the call. And we're prepared to walk with you here at AIC. And it's not an easy choice, but once you make it, you can do what Mick's done. Don't turn back. Just grab it and go. Yeah. And he's living proof. Look, he's working with youth and fit as a fiddle, and being able to share his story now and restored his life. So you can do that too. So the number to call, we're going to pop that up. Maybe Jose can pop that up for me on the screen. The number to call is 0481 844 555. Yeah, that's the mobile number. Or you can call 1-800-NO2ICE. Yeah. And so give us a call or private message us. Just reach out. Yeah. People, Mick was very fortunate. He had some guys come and hijacked him and said, we're going to get you clean. And that's a real blessing, Mick. That's amazing. That's so beautiful that you've had that opportunity, but not everybody has that opportunity. Yeah. And that happens too. So we at AIC want to be here for you, and, we want to walk with you. So, you can hijack your life back. Don't let drugs hijack you. Yeah. Hijack your life back. Don't let it steal, kill, and destroy your future. Yeah. And live it. You only get one shot at it. Okay. Mick, thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight. Can I teach you a little slogan thing that we usually do with the youth? You might want to share it with your youth that you're working with. And one of the young guys out in Central Queensland made it up while we were doing a workshop out there. And we kind of took it on and thought, oh yeah, we started sharing it. All the school kids are doing it. So I'll teach it to you so you can teach them, and they might be watching the show tonight. So it goes like this, an N, so your fingers like that for an N, not, even, once. That's it. So not even once. Guys, don't touch it. So that's an N, an E, and a once. Yeah, not even once, guys. Don't touch it. Stay away from drugs. Live a life. And Mick, we're just so grateful. I look forward to meeting you when we're up in Townsville. Yeah.
Anytime, any other help I can be, don't be hesitant in ringing me.
Thanks, Mick. I look forward to chatting with you soon. God bless.
Okay, thank you very much.
We'll see you next week. Jose will be online next week, hopefully. He's out there helping flood victims at the moment with the team up in Coffs Harbour. So take care. God bless and stay clean. Love you lots.